Hi, my name is Elizabeth Bartz, President and CEO of State and Federal Communications. I'm here with Team Intern for 2015, and they just finished a program that is conducted here in the city of Akron called Intern Edge. This is the second year that there's been a program, and the second year State and Federal Communications has been involved in it. I wanted to take a moment after the program has ended to ask the students about their experiences during the Intern Edge program. If I'm not mistaken, there were 6 weeks of programs, or 5? 6, okay. So let me just quickly go around, what was your favorite? Which one was your favorite? Costa?
I enjoyed the Strength Finders one.
Was that the one at the first merit conference? No.
That was at the lodge.
Coventry Oaks.
Oh, the second one, okay.
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
I enjoyed the location of Summit Art Space, and then we ventured out around Akron and got to see other places.
That's good. David?
I would have to agree with Elizabeth. I really enjoyed that one personally as well, just seeing different parts of Akron that you may not have seen otherwise.
Sophia?
I like the leading by example session at the first merit
At the-
conference room.
Nikos, I like the Coventry Oaks one about the Strength Finders. It was really interesting.
Good. I think the big difference from last year's program to this year's program is that they did go outside of downtown Akron to show you different places. I know during the course of the summer you had an opportunity to meet with various leaders in the city, business or elected, and wondered if there was one that came across with a bigger impression than maybe another one. I'm going to ask everybody this one too, but I'll give you a second to really think about it. The students had an opportunity to meet a lot of the business leaders, and then if we saw them again, I would always bring that business leader and say, do you remember my students from Intern Edge? And they had a great experience last week when Nick Browning from First Merit Bank sat down with them at Akron Roundtable and gave them his business cards so that if they wanted him to review their resume, he would do so, which I thought was very gracious of him. So let me start with Niko.
So I was the one talking to Nick Browning last week at Akron Roundtable, and we were talking about what happened the night before, and then I was jokingly he said something, I jokingly said, is that a business offer, job offer? And he said, here's my business card, and I saw his business card, so definitely was like a real awakening, like, look at what the program's done. I just got connected with the president of First Merit Bank, so it was definitely really interesting.
Good, good. I always say networking. It's very important. Sophia.
I think someone who made a big impression on me was Kevin Smith. He was the keynote speaker at the Strengths and Opportunities session at Coventry Oaks Pavilion. And I just thought it was really interesting how knowledgeable he was about the different types of strengths that you can have and how they can work together, and how people with different strengths can work together to make a really good team. I thought that was very interesting.
Good, good. Thank you. David?
Well, in terms of leaders and people of Akron, Russ Pry has always been kind of my personal favorite. I mean, he's a very down-to-earth kind of people person. He doesn't come off as high and mighty or anything, and I just always enjoy speaking with him and hear him speaking.
And you know I love him because he's a Kent State alum.
That's also true.
He looks older. Elizabeth.
During the Connections That Count session, it was held at Musica, we were introduced to Laura Wallerstein, who used to work at State and Federal Communications, and she talked to us about when she was an intern and different networking opportunities that she had and how to make an impression even when you're just a student in college.
Let me tell you something. Laura Wallerstein is an amazing person. She came to work here after college, and she went back to school to get a master's in mathematics, and then ended up getting her law degree. And she is fascinating. I see her all over the city. She is a true example of a young professional who really wants to be involved in the city. Costa.
My favorite was right from week one, Justin Hilton. Yeah. Me and the two Davids, we were at the Focal Point breakfast, for that social
Right.
media, and we met him there, so we had that initial connection, and then it carried over through Intern.
Well, Justin Hilton is a great leader in the Akron Kent area. He does work at Kent State University, and I did just get the information for the Children's Hospital program, Dancing for the Kids, which is a lot like Dancing for the Stars, but not. And Justin and I were judges 2 or 3 years ago for the program. And this year he's a judge again. I am not a judge. That was way too much to do. But he was really good because obviously he has watched the television show Dancing with the Stars and knew what to say, knew how to get up and do the little moves. But he is a great corporate citizen. I think that that's really very important. And one of the things that you said about Russ Pry, he's very much a great corporate citizen wanting to do the absolute best for this area. One of the things that I heard David Giffels talk about last night was coming back to Akron. Don't leave us. And I know you all are still in school, and that is the furthest from your mind as to what you're going to do. But do you think that the Intern Edge program helped give you a little bit more information about this area that it probably isn't compared to, Mayberry RFD? You probably don't even know what that show is. A small country city. I'm hoping that you'll say, but you don't have to, that it showed you a little bit more about this area. Did you think so, Elizabeth, just in the business aspect of it?
I think it did for sure, and we did talk about, as far as in the future generations, how Akron will be marketed and what people are going to see it as, and we talked about how it's going to be more about the community aspect and family life, and also there's just so much potential, especially with the beautiful things in Akron, such as the metro parks and the towpath.
Those are very good. The towpath and the parks are excellent examples of what people like in a city. And the late John Seiberling, our congressman from this area, was instrumental in building up the Cuyahoga Valley metro parks and that towpath so that people could take walks and you could ride your bike all the way up to Peninsula, I think even further, but I haven't tried that. So I think that those are really good examples. Did anybody else have a comment about what they learned about Akron that they may not have known before?
I did not know about how much music there was here in Akron. Like, you think Akron, and honestly, I was like, oh yeah, rubber capital, now not as much a rubber capital. And it was just kind of like, laid back, sort of Rust Belt city. And then I realized, like, we had so much music opportunities here. Like, we had a whole session as an optional event with Intern Edge about music in Akron. So there was all this potential for entertainment, and I was just really surprised and excited about that.
That's good. Was there discussion about the activities at Lock 3 and Lock 4?
Yes, there was. They talked about Lock 3 and Lock 4 and the different venues like the Blue Jazz Club, Musica, Blossom, a whole bunch of things that I had heard about, never really fully understood what they were about, as well as things I had never heard about at all.
Really? That's really good. I do have coupons for Blossom Music Center.
Nice.
And I think I can share those with the students. I get them as part of a program I'm with WKSU. Now, we're not talking about, my coupons don't get you the tickets to the rock concerts. They're with the Cleveland Orchestra, which is also very good to listen to. Have you went to Musica for one of your programs. I've been to Blue, which I had not been to before, and I thought it was fabulous. I didn't even know that we had such a club. We went with Russ Pry. It was a fun time. But that's very good. Did you know before that the Black Keys were from Akron? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I'm
I
glad
didn't
Oh, you
know.
did. What other thing? Let's close it up. What other key point do you think was beneficial about Intern Edge, or not? I mean, when they came to talk to me about it last year, I was like, okay, we'll do it. And then and we had a lot of students in it last year. I think maybe the same number.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that they wanted to do was not make it so top heavy from one company. But, we were willing to expend the registration fee for it, and a lot of other people weren't. I want to say one important thing about Intern Edge that I had learned is my interns are paid interns. They're not unpaid interns. And when they do have an Intern Edge program, we adjust their hours so they can get in their time and still be paid for going to Intern Edge. Many of the other students were putting in their day at their internships and then still going to Intern Edge off the clock, which I don't think is a good precedent for anybody to set, because these students are obviously representing those companies who paid for their registration fee. But we made it accommodating for them so that they could get in their hours and still be a part of the program. Would you have any suggestions for changes next year? I wondered, one of the things I brought up last night just talking was, what if it was during the day more instead of the evening? I think it might be difficult to get speakers, but it might give more of an opportunity to see more action around the city, maybe going to a hospital. And I'm not suggesting that they're going into some operating room.
Yeah.
But I am saying we have 3 great hospitals in this city, and that could be an opportunity just to really meet with their CEO and see how they really operate and different things that they do.
I can make a
Sure.
comment with that.
Please.
I would agree with that. I think that the time of day was just kind of the slower time of day, between 4 and 7 roughly. And they did have really good appetizers for us from Urban Eats, but they didn't have dinner or coffee. And I know that sometimes I think people were just kind of getting tired and especially hungry by the end of the session. And not that that should affect it, but it did. And I think kind of the energy was always just lowered by the end of it, because people were just ready to just go home and get dinner.
That's an excellent point. I was always asking, did they feed you? That's a big thing in my family, probably in yours too. We don't, what I say is stick with me, you won't go hungry. But that's a really good recommendation for next year. I know that they're not trying to offer dinner, but after working for the day or whatever, even if I had you come in later, it's still dinner time. And but that's a really good recommendation. Take a break, and maybe part of it start with a meal.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not talking about a 5-course meal.
Right, just something.
Nico? I'm sorry. Niko, did you have something to add?
Yeah, along with that, I think it would have been a little more beneficial to be in the day, see more of Akron. We were like in the first merit building, which was really interesting, but we didn't tour it or anything. We just went up to the 7th floor and that was it. I mean, when we went out to Coventry Oaks, we just kind of sat in the pavilion the entire time. If we could see like Akron, like the scavenger hunt we had, that wasn't really scavengers, just like a tour downtown. More of that would have been interesting, like touring the hospital, talking to CEOs, going out there more, seeing more of what's in Akron than just to that one session. So, and along with the coffee would have been great.
I have another suggestion.
Okay. Elizabeth, you had something else to add?
I think that the biggest thing that all of the interns had in common is that we were interns around Akron or somewhere close. I know there was interns from Orville and some other places. I think that if they would have divided us up, at least even for one one evening into more of our specialties or what we're majoring in college, I think that that would have given us a deeper connection with people instead of the fact that the only thing that we had in common was being an intern. I think it would have shown us that there are more people like us that we can talk about what we're studying in school or what we're currently working on, our individual projects and our jobs and things like that.
Excellent suggestion. So did the intern from Orville bring jelly? Never?
We asked, no.
Richard.
Yeah.
In closing, do you have any other comments to
Oh, I do.
David? And this is David's second tour of duty.
Yeah,
On Intern Edge.
I'm an Intern Edge veteran. I really liked what they did for the scavenger hunt. It felt kind of rushed, though. I mean, you had 10 minutes max there. And I felt like that if they would have maybe ran with that and maybe extended Intern Edge itself a little bit longer and maybe seen different parts of it or maybe spent a little bit more time in some areas, that would have been nice. Or maybe extended Intern Edge also to also feed us dinner instead of just appetizers. The food's important, and coffee as well.
I'm gonna be the only person who doesn't mention coffee.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciated everybody's input into Intern Edge, and we'll definitely work with the torchbearers and Mark Scheffler to see how they can expand it, because it does give you information about Akron and hopefully a little urge to stay and help us grow our future. We do have a situation of people leaving the city, and I was somebody who left the state right after college and came back 12 years later. But it's important to help grow the city for its future, because there's a lot that we do here, and I hope you've had an opportunity to really take advantage of those opportunities. So thank you very much.